With regards to this issue on collective karma, it is true. There is such thing as collective karma. What do we mean by collective karma? When you want to do something, one thing, one action, and you get many people involved in that action, right? Now you see how in certain countries, when they are fighting with one another, they organize themselves into armies, organize themselves into battalions, right? And when they attack, they don't attack one by one person. The whole group, right? The whole group come and attack. Isn't it? Also, when you build a house, when you are building a house, this building, for example, that came up, it was not built by one carpenter or one mason. It has taken how many people to come to work on this house, on this building? It has taken the carpenter and the mason. And the plans were drawn by whom? Architects. We have to have civil engineers to come in. And then got people to come to test pile. And do the piling work. So how many people have come in order to produce this one building? So karmically, all these people have contributed towards the completion of this building, right? So in this instance, we can understand how a number of people, some may be more honest than others, but all of them have come together to produce and to build up this building. In the case of the battlefield, you have battalions, groups of soldiers. They attack, they kill others. And that action is also a collective action. When they defeat people, this defeat and taking over of countries, one country and another, all this has resulted through the efforts of not one person. There is one commander that gives the command, but behind him there are all the soldiers. Behind the soldiers there are who? There are those in the logistics department who plans the strategy. How, where, when, and then. So all these people have taken part. That is why when the enemy comes and captures, if the battle is lost, then there is what you call prisoners of war, right? And all those responsible for fighting them, they will be caught. And you cannot say that I am not responsible, but you were one of those aiding and abetting. So in a similar action, you can see in various situations, there are certain actions performed by groups of people. And for that action to be performed, to be carried out, if you have an honest person planning this, then the others will perform it honestly, but some also may not agree with this thing, right? There may be a few who will totally disagree with this action, and because he says, I am not going to be a part of this setup, I quit. They resign. They resign. They quit. They run away. So, in this manner, we can understand collective karma. There are instances in the Dhammapada where groups of 7 monks have met certain tragedies. And then when the Buddha came to know of this tragedy, Buddha has explained in this manner. And when the Buddha focused his attention to this group of monks, Buddha realized that in the past lives, they were together also. They were working together, scheming together, and they have committed certain unwholesome karma together. Then, when the conditions are right, when certain conditions are ripened, which brings all these people together, they may look like innocent fellows coming from outside coming to the bank to change money. But there are in any bad actions, there are those who support, from inside, from outside. There are financiers also. So in this manner, we can understand how certain plane crash. Many plane crashes have occurred during the past few years. And we have also heard of a number of stories whereby some people who are not destined to be with that group. There is, the case of how the plane crashed some years ago in Malaysia. And there was this person who was locked up for some reason or other. He went into the restroom, and he was supposed to take that flight from Penang. And he just went in, and he locked, and he cannot open. He could not open the restroom. And plane announced, flight, plane took off. In his place, somebody else went in his place. And they all died. But he was safe. Yes, yes. So, those who answer this as chants, they have not understood what the real meaning of karma is about. The one who brought up this idea of the 5 niyama, orders, cosmic order, he has something to contribute. But in instances of this nature, it is the karma. It is the collective karma of individuals. Of course, in the light of, all have forgotten their actions. Nobody knows their past, what they have done together. So it's very difficult to account for in this manner. But certainly, if you are able to go back into the past, you will see they must have come jointly, it's a joint force. Otherwise, for all these people to be there at that time, at that place, at that moment when the building collapsed, what are the chances? You can work out on mathematical, on the basis of combination, permutations. You can see what are the chances of this. So it's not mere chance, not mere chance. But to elaborate further what the other one had pointed out about the 5 cosmic orders, it is true. In this universe, karma, the force of karma, is one of the 5 orders that functions. The other orders are, the first one is called Utu Niyama. Utu means heat. It is due to the heat, due to the changes in heat in the environment, in the atmosphere, that brings about changes in seasons, seasonal changes, brings about summer, then brings autumn, winter, spring, and so on. We don't have these 4 seasons, but we still have rainy season, monsoon season. This monsoon season also is a result of certain changes in the temperature, land and sea temperature, and the wind blowing. Now this is not due to karma. This is not due to karma. This is due to that order called, we can call it the thermal order or calorific order, governed by the laws of heat. And that is Utu Niyama. This order, this law, there is no lawgiver. It is the natural law, natural phenomena, which from time to time scientists are able to discover. That is why there have been quite a few scientists who have found out, who have discovered the laws of heat, how heat, temperature, that functions. I try to remember what are those laws that I have learned. Immediately does not come out. Anybody knows about the effects, how any scientific laws with regards to heat? No. There is the formula about latent heat of fusion and latent heat and vaporization. I can't remember this, so I will not attempt to. Anyway, yes. Yes, that's right. Laws of thermodynamics. That's right. And now, these laws have been discovered by certain scientists, certain people, and how this law operates in nature. It does not need a lawgiver as such. So that is what you call Utu Niyama. The other one is Bija Niyama. Bija Niyama. Bija Niyama means the germinal order or organic order. Utu is heat, inorganic. Bija is germinal or organic order, or it can also be called the hereditary factor. Hereditary factor. Because under this category of bija niyama, we explain how certain things takes place in nature. How when you plant a mango seed, you don't get a durian plant. Did you try? When you plant apple seed, you don't get an orange tree. Apple seed will give you apple plant. So, why? What is the reason? You ask. Because there is, in that seed, there is certain order. There's certain organic processes that are taking place in there. There are certain genetic order. This is a genetic order. Certain hereditary factor that this kind of seed will give rise to them. Otherwise, two human beings get together and produce an elephant. And there has been in the past, I do not know how true it is, I do not know whether you have heard about it, how human beings have given rise to some crocodiles or... Have you heard about this? Huh? How many of you have heard this story? Hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do not know how it happened. And but I remember, as a small boy, going to the market one day, and I heard stories like this, and they were for event on exhibition. That being with something like a reptilian body, and these are certain freak instances. So if it really happens, it is a freak instance, right? It could be that also karmically on the past, you see, and because I have seen how in certain newspaper cuttings, I have read how certain rats are born out of rats. You know rats? Those cloth, unused cloth, piled up someplace, heaped up someplace. And yes, in the newspaper you can see the picture of the rat and half the body with rags have come out from there. Now, these are something that which we cannot explain by mere biological laws. It goes beyond the biological laws sometimes. You see? And this is where biology cannot explain. The advancement in biological science today cannot explain everything. Take the instance of spontaneous birth. In Buddhism, we explain different kinds of births. How many different kinds of births? 4 kinds of births. One kind is egg-born. Egg-born. That means born through eggs. Like what? Chicken. Birds. Reptiles. Like dinosaurs. You have seen the dinosaur's egg, isn't it? Yeah. Big one, no? What about elephants? Anybody seen elephant eggs? You don't see? No. I don't think elephants lay eggs. It's a mammal. But there is one mammal that lay eggs, isn't it? Platypus. You only find that in Australia. platypus. Only one mammal that lay eggs. And you know the big kangaroo? Do they lay eggs? No, they don't lay eggs. Kangaroos are born. When they are born, they're small, about 1.5 inch like that. And they crawl and enter in the pouch. Now, all these are natural. This is the way of nature, natural phenomena. Egg born. Then some are born through the womb. And have what you call swimming pool. They are in the womb and they have water inside there. And then that is the womb born. Like human beings, they are womb born. And other mammals. Then there are those that are born moisture born. Moisture born. In certain moist area. They can appear certain life. And this is also very difficult to explain biologically. Because biologically we only explain when there are eggs only. Then you can get it. But certain damp areas, we can find certain kind of insects, creatures. And then the another kind of birth is called a spontaneous birth. Spontaneous birth. This cannot be explained by biological science. And what are the instances of spontaneous birth? I told you, I have seen I have seen how they were born instantaneously in a video. How beings are born in the heavenly. And very beautifully done, this Deva in tower things of heaven. And she knew when she was going to die, to be born as what? As Siddhartha Gautama's mother, Queen Mahamaya. And then she took leave from Sakra, and then disappear there and appear. And how Sakra sent his followers, all the other devas, to help to build kuti for Vesantara, Prince Vesantara. That means in the one of the former lives of the Buddha, he was as Prince Vesantara. And how the devas appeared from nowhere and built up. Very quickly they built up. We didn't see how they built up also. Anyway, they are all in the video. This is how. And in Buddhism, we accept this. Although we cannot explain them scientifically as yet. Maybe some other time they will be able to explain. Since they are able to produce beings, if you see in some of these Star Wars and how the being can be projected and then appear like that. Energy just come together and appear. Something like that maybe. So anyway, come back to this. Now, Bija Niyama means like that. Birth explains how, due to certain genetic code, those who study biology, study the the helix, DNA molecules, how they are the template, and how they produce certain code and then result in certain beings that looks just like the mother or father, or at least the features like them, due to certain genes, genetic. These genes also, we don't accept just chance. It is, we can describe them as karmic genes. They have been there as a result of certain karmic forces, karmic energy. Then, apart from that bija, niyama, which explains the germinal order, how things germinate and are born in this world, there is also another order, karmic order. That's the third, karmic order. This karmic order is that order which we explain as moral causation. Good action begets good action, evil actions begets evil actions. That is the karmic order. It's only one order, right? But it is this important, this order is very important, because through this we can explain how human beings, how beings are born depending on their karma, and why they have to suffer. Then another order he did not mention. Did you mention? Chitta niyama. You mentioned chitta niyama. Psychic order. Psychic order. This is not karma. This is psychic order. The order of the mind. That mind has the ability to... There are different abilities the mind function. When the mind is concentrated, the mind has the telepathic ability. What is telepathy? Ability to send messages. Ability to receive messages. Clairvoyant. Clairvoyant. Can see things which the eye cannot see. The mind has also clairaudience. Hear things that normal ear cannot hear. Can see, can recall one's past lives. All these can manifest, the body can manifest into one body, can become many. Sometimes you can see, while concentrating, while that person is walking, a few bodies come out from there. During the time of the Buddha, there are instances. I remember this one story, how this one woman was coming to offer dana, to bring some food to a certain monk that she knows. No? And by the time she brought the food to this place, this monk was residing in a secluded spot. And there were a lot of trees there. When she arrived at that place, she saw, to her surprise, she saw quite a few monks. I do not know how many, but quite a few of them. All look alike. Look like the monk that she wanted to offer. So she did not know who to bring, who to give the food to, because they all look same features. Then she went to the Buddha and asked. She says, this is what has happened. She wanted to offer this particular monk. But when she arrived there, she said she saw so many of that monk who do not know, not enough food to offer to all. So the Buddha said, when it happened to you, what will you do? To whom will you offer? How are you going to offer? Yeah. How did you know? Yes. The Buddha said, yes. Go before all the monks and mention the name. I have brought this food for the Reverend so-and-so. The first one to move, the first one to respond, that's the one. All the others are fake. All the others are mind-created bodies. Mind-created bodies. What is it? Hologram, is it? Now these phenomena. Yes, if you train your mind, you can also produce these things. Now also, there are people who can do it. No? Maybe not here. But, I have heard of various instances. We have also one photograph and show, but I think it's not with me now. In Burma, I have heard instances in Burma how this was told to me by one of the devotees, Burmese devotees who had gone to pay her homage to a certain place. When she went there, to her surprise, she had seen so many monks. She said she's never seen so many monks in her life in Burma. And all of them were carrying the same thing. Some bags, small bags, offering, making offerings to the Buddha. Then, while she was there for a little while, and after she has done her job, whatever she wanted to do, she turned around and said, no one there. Bodies just appear in that manner. Anyway, this is another form, and psychic phenomena. How the mind can create bodies. These are called manomaya iddhi. Mind created bodies. The body created by the mind. This body, by the training of the mind, can also make, you can make the body small, shrink. Yes. Can make the body big. You can make yourself look very old. Can make yourself look very young. Yes. There are monks who also are able to keep their bodies. Those who have, they do not want their body to rot. So before they die, they get into jhana and they make a determination. Then their bodies don't rot. Oh, you can see in Thailand, Bangkok, you can see in Taiwan, there are 5 there. We saw 1, 2 bodies, did not rot. And they apply gold leaf. One of those monks who passed away has been coming to Malaysia quite often, and but he died long time ago. Okay. What is your question?
Are the bodies produce real or just appearances?
Are the bodies?
Produced by the mind.
Yes.
Real in substance or just appearances?
I do not know. I did not test. And he asked whether the bodies are real or not. It is real insofar as the mental created one. No? You can see it. But I do not know inside there are intestines or not. Or it is it's an image that has been created. That's why some people can see this being one place, and at the same time another person claimed had seen another place. And then they write and inform. They have seen so and so at this place. Another one says seen this place. So people are confused. How can he see all at one time? There are some beings who have that ability to multiply their bodies and make into one again. The natural phenomena, sequential order in the Dhamma, just like this, how we explain. When you practice precepts, when you observe precepts, what happens to your mind? What happens to your mind? By avoiding evil, by doing good, your mind naturally becomes pure. Not so fast. Not so fast. Naturally becomes free from remorse, free from guilty conscience. Of course, if you perform some unwholesome action, lying, stealing, that action is going to disturb your mind. That action is going to disturb your mind. And the more you perform this again and again, it's going to strengthen this. Until you become so professional that it does not matter to you. But because it has crystallized these things, you lose that conscience. No? You lose that awareness. You think there is nothing wrong. But later on, you have to face those consequences. Those people, for nothing, houses burn, they lose everything. That is not mere coincidence. Cannot say that the wind blew that direction and the fire came from some, due to certain karma. But it can be due to a combination of these order, cosmic order. No? So this Dhamma order, we can explain one order very clearly using this example. How? When one practices precepts, avoid evil, do good, mind is free from remorse. That mind that is free from remorse is naturally composed, naturally calm mind. That calm mind naturally has happiness, peace of mind. That peaceful state of mind is naturally conducive to concentration. When one has the ability to concentrate, then one can analyze. Here is not karma. No, not karma. But this is an order. It is a Dhamma order. In this Dhamma order, spiritual order, is also explained certain spiritual phenomena which is difficult to explain in other ways. How? When certain beings purify their minds, in the case of the Buddha, when the Buddha attained his enlightenment, certain phenomena takes place. Like what? Earth shook, no damages caused. And sometimes certain flowers appears, she said, when the Buddha was born. Of course, some of them are a bit exaggerated, but there are. I have heard of instances, I've come across also, how certain beings, when their minds are pure, after the minds are pure and they're deeply concentrated, they make certain aspiration. They make certain aspiration, determination. And just as they make that determination, thunder, lightning appears. Then that how so strong the mind, the spiritual, these things, how certain cosmic order functions. We cannot explain it in terms. This is called the spiritual order. It is said when an arahant passes away, and when the Buddha gained his enlightenment, when the important occasions, Buddha, when he was born, Prince Siddhartha was born, certain things took place, extraordinary things took place, that cannot be explained as a mundane worldly order. It is explained as a spiritual order. These are the 5 cosmic orders. So come back to this collective karma. Now in this instance, there can also be the cooperation of certain orders, right? Certain orders, right? And due to certain season, due to certain timing, that these people come together. But karma, behind it, there is this karma pushing them all to come together. Now, how you are born in one family. So when we explain this, this phenomena, here, you are gathered here, this evening, not by mere chance. No. It is your karma. It is your karma to be here. Because you have heard, because you have seen, because you have some good friends have told you about, and then you have thought about it, isn't it? And then you decide, yes, I will come. I will give up. And then amongst you, there are some amongst you will come together. Are they brothers? See how the Wong brothers came? This is also due to the karma. No? To be born together. And then at a certain time, first the father comes. Then the father is happy. Father sends the sons together. No? And we almost rejected them. Because there were so many applicants. In fact, we had rejected them. No? Say cannot. Only one can come. Then what happened was, last day, a few did not turn up. We say we can take up to 40. We have made arrangements for 40. The last moment, the father says, can or not? One more. The brother can come or not? Okay, can come. See, karma, certain karma, it cannot. And from now onwards, what impressed in their minds, that now what they are doing now, what you all are doing now, these are certain strong karma. And this is going to condition next birth. And if you live very peacefully with one another, right? Yes. Just like How peacefully you have been. And you have leader, one leader, one group. You see how you clean the premises in the morning. You don't do one person. Together. Right? You do it together, collectively. And collectively get together, you all agree to do it. All agree, isn't it? You have your chetana. You work together. So same, that is one karma, one action, but all of you. But different intensity. Some grumble a little bit. Some, but still they go on to do. Some state of mind not so pure. Some calm is very pure mind. Full agreement. But together. The next lifetime also, you will come together. So if you make firm determination, this is how Sariputta and Moggallana have come together. Never mind. Yes, that's right. Sariputta and Moggallana, they look different. That's why you can see Sariputta, Moggallana in there. And yes. Now, before they met, they have been friends for many lifetimes. And not ordinary friends. They were spiritual friends above all. And in the last life, they were born around the same village. Some say in Nalanda or around Nalanda. They were born around. And when they grew up, they renounced, they were practicing, they had spiritual practice also together. Then when they could not realize the truth, they decided to take their own course. But they made that agreement. If I find the truth, I must come back to you. If you realize the truth, you should come back to me and tell me how to go about it. Then they went apart. Then who realized the truth first? Sariputta. Sariputta realized the truth first. Then who realized the truth first? Sariputta. Sariputta realized the truth first. And Sariputta, upon realizing this truth, in fact, how did Sariputta realize this truth? Just two lines only. 2 lines. Ye Dhamma Hetuppabhava. And Buddha says, of all, this is not from the Buddha, but from the disciple of the Buddha, Reverend Asaji, Venerable Asaji. Venerable Asaji just told him, all things that is of the nature to arise will cease. This is what the Buddha taught. Immediately, he attained his enlightenment. Then he remembered Moggallana. And he went. He hurried to Moggallana and told. He recited the first verse. Moggallana could not. Then he recited the full verse, 4 lines. Moggallana also had that wisdom, attained enlightenment. That is how. So they fulfilled their aspiration in that lifetime. There were many who came, who were born at the time of the Buddha, you see, and they have been aspiring. Some of you may not realize, but you might have heard somewhere in the past, certain teachings. And some of you might have aspired to become Sariputta Moggallana, chief disciples of the Buddha. Some aspire to become just the ordinary. Some aspire to become the chief spokesman, like that. So different aspirations. Some of you want to become Buddhas. If you have sown this thought in your mind, long time ago, then you cannot stop sometimes. Your karma is so strong. But you can still change if you have not developed, if you have not attained to a certain stage of development, can still change course. So, what in the past, how this past can condition. So do not look on this gathering very lightly. Don't take it so lightly. Do not make enemies here. Otherwise, you will become like Buddha and Devadatta. You know Buddha and Devadatta? You know his story? You do not know his story. Oh, you want his story? Oh, there is in the Jataka. In the Jataka, yes. In the Jataka. In fact, we have also their pictures. We have seen them, in video. And where was it? Yes, in Australia. And they have gone to Australia. The videos have gone to Australia. And we saw it in Sinhalese. One Sinhalese man translated to us. Very good story. How the first time, they came together. And from that time onwards, they were fighting. Not they were fighting, only one was fighting. The other one was not fighting. Now, it is the story of two Bengal sellers. Bengal sellers. Now, this one, Devadatta, in his previous birth, I forgot his name. In Thai, they call Chow Chok. Oh, no, not Chow Chok, not Chow Chok. It's another name, by another name. Later on, Devadatta is Chow Chok. And he was born, let us call him that cunning Bengal seller. Okay? The cunning Bengal seller, Devadatta. And the Bodhisattva, the Buddha, was at that time also another Bengal seller. But he was the honest Bengal seller. Have you heard this story? All right. Then, this one day, this cunning Bengal seller came to the village to sell his bangles. And he went and he shouted out, bangles, 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 And there came one small girl. One small girl came running. And then he called her, come. And then she takes out the bangles. She said, come, give me your hand. Come. And then I put in these bangles. He put in the bangles into her hand. See how beautiful you are. Very beautiful, this thing. And then make her use that, and now she likes it so much now. Then he pulls the bangles out. Then this girl says, why? He says, no, you must pay me money. Now this girl wanted it so much, she ran home grandmother was looking after her. The grandmother did not have any money, no money to buy. So she cried much. Then the grandmother felt so bad. Grandmother says, call the bangle seller, come. So call the bangle seller. And this time, when the bangle seller came, the grandmother said, I have no money, but I have this cooking pot here. I have this pot here. I am not using this pot. I have been keeping this for a long time. And you can take this pot and you can give me some bangles for my granddaughter. Then this fellow, this cunning bangle seller, got that pot, metal pot, and he took something, he scratched it, and he knew that that pot was made of gold. The whole pot was made of pure gold. Then this cunning thought arose in his mind. He said, greed arose in his mind. He said, he thought, if I were to tell her it's gold, I cannot afford to pay her. But I must get this pot for nothing, cheap. So he pretended, and he looked, what is this pot? Threw down the pot, and he says, worthless. And then the grandmother said, never mind, just give a few bangles will do. You take this pot, give a few bangles. He said, this is not worth a few bangles. Do you know these bangles have been imported? He said. Perhaps he had made it at home, you see. But he says, imported stuff. Then he walked away. But he had this plan. He said, I walk away. Then I will come back again. Then now, I can't, she will give me this pot. And maybe I give her 1 or 2 bangles. Never mind, she'll be happy about it. No? So, with this scheme in mind, he walked away. He went for a rest. Then came another bangle seller. Honest bangle seller, the Bodhisattva. Now this bangle seller came, also asked. And then this small girl ran. And bangle seller came to the house. And then the grandmother also told same thing. Grandmother says, here, I have no money to give you. Please give this child some bangles. Otherwise, she's very sad. Now, I have this pot. Can I give you this pot in exchange for a few bangles? This honest bangle seller look at the pot. It's very heavy. Then he see, there are marks, scratches marks, gold. Immediately he told this woman, I can't take this pot, he said. I can't take this pot. Then the old woman felt very sad again. She says, why? Why can't you take this pot? He said, I have no money to pay you for this pot. This is gold pot. What? She said, what? The other bangle seller says, it's not worth. He threw it right in front of my eyes and says it's not worth. No, he says, this is gold. I cannot afford. I can give you all these bangles and I still cannot afford to pay you for this. Then the grandmother wanted to please the granddaughter so much. So she said, what? This pot is no use for me. I cannot eat this pot. If you can take this pot, give whatever you can. Then this man, honest man, took the pot and he gave all the bangles to this girl, and in all what he had sold, all the money he had in his hand, he gave it. He gave up. He just took that pot of gold. He says, if you can give me this pot, I'll give you all these things, if you are willing to take. Then the grandmother was so happy, no? And then he went away. He went away with the pot of gold. Now, few minutes time, that cunning Bengal seller came whistling, and to get the small girl come. Small girl came. And then now he came to the house and asked. And now he asked the grandmother, he said, I came back because I pity your granddaughter. I went and I thought over it. I really pity her because I thought she may cry and she cannot get these things. Never mind. You give me the pot. I will give you these 2 bangles. Then the grandmother says, what? Now we don't need your bangles. See, we have all the bangles. You want to buy? From me? And, he says, where did you get these things? He says, I got it from, that bangle seller just now. Oh, he was mad. He was furious with the honest bangle seller. He ran after him. But actually, this honest bangle seller was already in the river, and he was crossing the river, and the ferryman had taken him. So this cunning bangle seller could not catch up. He ran to the river bank, and he saw the honest bangle seller was carried the pot. And so he shouted, in all his might he shouted, you, he says, I will catch up with you. I will chase after you. I cannot catch up with you in this life. From birth to birth, I will catch up with you. So strong was his thought. His greed and his anger there. That is how. From birth to birth, he tried to, tried to do all kinds of harm to the Bodhisattva. And that is the story of Devadatta in his previous life as the Buddha. So with this story, the moral of this story is this. If you harbor strong bad thoughts in your mind, then this can continue birth to birth. So it's a very dangerous pastime. So better be good. If you have been fighting, better come together these few days. Admit your mistakes. Do your confession. And become good friends. The Buddha actually advised his disciples to live together in communion with one another. And like what? Always in the text we explain how the monks live in harmony with one another. Like milk and water. You are always thinking of sugar. You can separate the sugar from the milk, but you cannot. Can you separate milk from water? Unless you go through a process of, distillation and so on. No? So, that is explained. In other words, it is so soluble, it comes together like that. Milk and water. You should be like milk and water, mingling with one another in that manner. Okay? Now, yes. 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 I heard just now somebody played. that state of this 5-year-old boy who was able to recite. Remember the other night I told you about rebirth and how this boy was able to recall his previous life. He said that he was there. He attended the funeral of the Buddha. And then he was able to recite all those. He has the faith. And maybe we'll bring the boy some other time. He is now big. He's now, I think, he must be at least in his teens. But now if you ask him, he cannot remember. He cannot remember. No, he's not a monk. I do not know whether he has become a monk, but he's a young boy. No. Maybe we do not know. Maybe there are certain karma, which he must have, got fed up. And either that or certain karma blocking still. We do not know. Or still certain karma, those karma not ripened yet. At that time he was only 5 years old. And normally in Sri Lanka they don't ordain until they are at least 10, 11. In Burma they ordain about 7 years old. At least 7 years old. No? Maybe the tape you can listen some other time. Because afterwards to the class we put in. If you have some other questions that you wish to raise. Yes. Do you know in wars, how they, have you seen war films? How they kill? They don't kill in 1, 2, they kill people, hundreds, thousands. Sometimes they wipe out the whole village. No? And all those people who had plundered, who took part in killing, right? When the time comes, when the karma ripens, they will be grouped back again, together. Yes, they are reborn again and again. No? When their karmas ripen, they come back. But don't worry, because if you do not, from now onwards, since you have learned about karma, right? And you aspire, strengthen your mind, strong mind, and do not submit to the evil tendencies. So even if your friend comes and says, come, there are, these people have a lot of money there, and come together, join force to go and rob. Nothing doing. Nothing doing. Let me be poor. Let me not rob others. When you have these thoughts in your mind, strengthen it. You do not commit that action. You don't join forces to do it. Now, the others may have to face, but you can escape somehow. That is why in Chinese we say, if you have performed good karma, in that time you have the Kuijin. You somehow or other, you are in a situation where somebody comes to help you, or you are being helped because of certain wholesome, certain good karma. Not chance, not chance. No chance these things. Karmically certain. This is how. Any other questions? Yes. This is what I also have heard. Buddha's relics. And I have heard how some reliable people say, they have seen how the relics multiply too. Just multiply that. you know. When certain relics, these are relics, Buddha's relics, or it can be the relics of certain arahants. We have told you last time how when the person purifies the mind, and you don't have to wait until they die. While they are living, even their hair can crystallize, can become relics. No? And in the case of the Buddha, the bones, he was cremated and his relics were divided. And I do not know how this phenomena, how some people, there is one woman that we have heard of. When she meditated in Thailand, when she meditated, and she found relics in her hand, appeared in her hand. Lump of relics appeared in her hand. And we have also heard how certain energy can crystallize in a hand, relics. In Sri Lanka, I have heard how these people put the relics on the lotus, and they, after reciting and paying homage to the Buddha, Dhammasanga, after some time, they see that people can see it, tree. Then, after they have worshipped, they see how it multiplies. And then they each take home. 1, 2, like that, they take back. And you see, I do not know how this phenomena, but, yes, this is a belief that many people have, and they, how it can disappear also. If you don't keep it properly, it disappears. Oh, these are certain phenomena that rains and these things, and very strong in certain countries. When we in schools, when we learn science, we think that we learn how the rains are formed, right? How are rain formed? The clouds, water evaporates, cloud, and convectional rain, convention, so on, right? And so we know, scientifically, only one cause of rain. But there can be more than one cause. When we observe carefully certain phenomena, and when some good actions are performed, a group of people come together, and all having this good mind, concentrated mind, whole mind, and it can bring about a change in the climatic weather condition also. No? Yes. If you come together again and again, big group, sit down in meditation and radiate metta, then a very strong force you can generate. If you have pure mind, can generate. You can change. You can bring rain also. If there's no rain, you can bring rain. Yeah. But sometimes certain devas, certain celestial beings, in certain plane of existence which have the power to make rain. Human beings some now can make rain also, no? Yeah? They go by aeroplane and they drop the, what you call, silver, what is this? Some silver nitrate, and then they form clouds, and then rain. So if human beings can do it, why can't other beings? Other beings also have that ability, no? So, for us, in order to understand certain phenomena, there are sometimes more than one cause. There are other causes that can come together. We have seen these things again and again in certain places. When we hold a religious function, after the religious function, sometimes during the religious function, rain falls. Like that. Sometimes, now when the relics of the Buddha were taken to Sri Lanka from India, they had a big exposition in various parts of the country in 1978 when there was big drought there. Then people came to see, paid the homage. Then, monks chanted, and certain parts began to get rain. Then, the last day when the relics was about to go out the country, it was kept in Kelaniya, in Raja Mahavihara in Kelaniya. That temple where it was kept, many people, thousands of people have seen the tree, the Bodhi tree, all white light appearing, and then, white lights appearing there, glitters. Not, what is this? Not fluorescent light. No, not this kind of light. Yes. This afternoon, Chief Reverend did Mangala Sutta, right? And in the Mangala Sutta you find how when the Deva came, soon as the Deva approached the Buddha, he went Jetavana monastery. The whole monastery was illuminated. His body was so radiant. Radiant. You can still see this phenomena in certain places. Yes. Some people do not know, they think it is unidentified UFOs. Sometimes the ball of light, very big ball, jump from one tree to another tree. Sometimes bluish light, these things come, jump. These are the radiant bodies. Radiant bodies. Sometimes these lights come here. And if you make certain determination, you see, they can come near to you. You can catch. And you get crystals. Certain things crystallize in your hands. Yes. Because pure energy crystallizes in that. No? These are the bodies of certain devas, certain radiant beings. No? Have that ability. And he's sitting, and if you go to these places, a lot of places where people have, of course, people transfer merits to these devas. Those of you who always come and disturb the devas, ask for this and that, the devas also run away. Too many things to do, no? And everybody come and ask the devas this, that, this, that. Instead of giving them, instead of sharing merits, when you do some good action, come, share merits with the devas. Not only to wait until you meet with some, misfortune, and have sicknesses, then only you think of the devas. And then you come to the Bodhi tree. And the Buddhist approach is this, a more dignified approach. We don't simply go and ask them for favors. We do the merits. We practice meditation. We practice dana, sila, bhavana. Then purify our mind. we radiate our metta, then all these meritorious actions that we have done, we dedicate this merit. And this dedication of merits have also got something. Because some people have that very strong view that the merits that they have done is theirs, So better give up. Give up too. It does not mean to say when you give up merits, then all your merits are gone. That transference of merits, that sharing of merits, it's in itself another meritorious action. Right? So you think of all the devas, all the celestial beings that are. Who are these devas? Who are these celestial beings? They are those beings who, having performed, having led a good life, dana, sila, practicing dana, sila, if they are not born as human beings, they can be born as, they are born as those devas. So those who have been used to helping people, curing people, and selflessly, when they are born as devas, they still can continue their services. That is why sometimes they come through mediums and they prescribe the medicine. They can prescribe medicine. These are the devas. You see? But we should not cling. The Buddhist attitude to these devas is not to cling, not to go to the extreme to cling to them and think, oh, they are all powerful, they have all these things. Then every time you are sick, you go to them. When you are sick, first try to analyze the cause of it. Yes, for noble truth. Apply for noble truth. Otherwise, without analyzing this, if you are so detached to the worship of devas, then what happens is you submit your own development of mind, and you just, everything, you just depend on them totally. But when you have performed some good action, share merits. That is why we have a verse actually. What is the verse we use for sharing merits with devas? Etavata cha amehi sambadang punya sampadang, like that, sharing merits. Or akasattha cha bhummatta, these are how you share merits with devas. And then even though when you are in trouble, even though you don't have to call them, they will be around to help you. These are things. There are different kinds of devas. There are those devas called samaditthi devas. Yes. Samaditthi devas are those who have already attained to right view. Not the wrong views devas. There are many devas who have wrong views. If you listen to their messages, then you also have wrong views. It is true. Yes. But the samaditthi devas are those who, after having practiced, those who have entered the path as stream winners, if they are not born as human beings, they can be born as devas. You preach Dhamma, when you have the good heart, preach Dhamma, they are very happy. They are very happy. Some monks, those are able to preach. The Buddha was known as a teacher of gods and men. The Buddha preached not only human beings, also to devas. Yes, I think now you can dedicate your meritorious deeds to all devas. And the samaditthi devas, think of all the samaditthi devas. And perform meritorious actions and then share merits to all others. Yes, one more. It is all right. From time to time, you perform some good action Dedicate this marriage to them. And you can inform them, I have so and so is sick, please, can you help these things? In whatever capacity you are able to help, please help. Okay? And sometimes they will come to help, Some of the devas are actually your own parents, relatives, friends that are there. See? And some of the hunters are also the same, your own relatives also. Yes, that's right. You see. They come and follow you wherever you go. So you must be armed with it. Give them metta. Give them loving kindness. Petas. Hungry ghosts. Actually, hungry ghosts don't hurt you. You hurt yourself. Because many people do not understand the nature of such hungry ghosts. So they are frightened. When they see them, they immediately get frightened, they get shocked, and then they die. They don't die because the hungry ghosts cannot. Actually, hungry ghosts, they are very frightened ghosts. They are frightened of human beings. And they run away, you see. But when they run away, you look, you see them running, you get scared. That is fine. If you are armed with, good thoughts, immediately you can try the formula. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa or iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho. You can try this formula. One day, you can go to the cemetery and sleep overnight there, and then you watch. Those beings who have attachment to the body, they come up. And goose pimple come up. Then you can try. Yeah. After my ordination, 3 nights after my ordination, I went to Kelantan in search of one monk in the forest. Then after that, he told me about these things. I did not really believe in these things. Then I said, I'll come back again. And one day I went back. Then he took me. He says, come. He did not really tell me where he's going to put me. But there were 3 of us put up in a small condo like that. Next to it, all cemeteries. Fresh ones. And new ones. Then, what happened? We sat overnight. 3 of us sat overnight. Now, next morning we get up. One of them was, he said, did you hear those things? We did not hear. I did not hear. The other man did not hear. But this one heard. And he says, I can't sleep. And I can't sit. See? And I was frightened all the time. This is the nature of those people. Birds of a feather flock together. Those who have done certain actions, then this comes, disturbs. But don't worry. If you determine your mind, and every time when you go to any empty places, including hotels, including bungalows, give metta first. I walked around. When I told you, I thought of having walked here in the night. But I went round and I covered the whole place in 7 minutes. And it is not, I walk very slowly, In 7 minutes I covered 1 round. And then we have got to go through certain corners, And when you go through this corner, you have to apply your your mind becomes distracted. The big walk, actually, the walk that is very beneficial is, if in a big group like this, we have to walk straight. You walk straight in this thing. So you don't have to think of anything, You just focus your attention on your movement, and you can get into concentration, samadhi, in walking. And but in this walk, it will just be, and very casual, and then your mind still can be very gross. So that is why I was not so enthusiastic about this big walk anymore. If we want to walk Brickfields Road, we have to apply police permission from it. Otherwise, at night, they say, who are these beings in white walking in a row, Oh, they will have a hard time now, Later on, when after the novice program, you can come and make application, Lake Garden, very good, And, okay, I think that is enough for tonight, and we have talked a few things, explained collective karma and pancha niyama. And remember those few stories, You have to come up again to tell those stories next time when we call you. Yes, of course. Good to listen, but you must also talk, Okay, I think that's enough.